When you flick a lever, it activates redstone instantly, which activates pistons, repeaters, comparators, observers instantly, all at the same time, right? Well, 20 times a second a single game tick passes. Each of these take roughly 50 milliseconds, and in each of these ticks, Minecraft creates a to-do list that it loops through, and it does a surprising amount of things in these 50 milliseconds, such as taking the world order, weather, scheduled block and fluid ticks, increment time, as well as rate ticks, chunks, block events, entities, and block entities, as well as player inputs. But the real interesting stuff is scheduled ticks, block events, and block entities. And to understand this more, we must first learn about block updates. So the Minecraft world is basically made of blocks that need to be updated. If we were to update every single block every tick, that would use up a lot of processing power. So let me introduce you to the power of neighbor updates. With this new technology, you can come back on tens of thousands of checks by doing it the lazy way. Simply whenever a block is placed, break or changed tells its neighbors that it has been updated, while the rest of the blocks can sleep in. That is, if I don't force them to update each other so that it causes these updates to run free and update every single block in the entire world. So with this new method, we have three different types of updates: block, shape, and comparator updates. The simplest kind of update is the block update. Whenever a block is placed or destroyed, it sends an update to its immediate neighbors. The next is shape update, which is also sometimes called the observer update, which basically anything an observer can react to, but a bud can't. And finally, we have the comparator update, which is sent out to comparators and only comparators, which is sent from the containers to the comparators. Okay, so what does this have to do with Gametick? Well, there are these things called instant and scheduled actions. Instant actions happen as soon as possible, like doors opening, dust being powered rails being activating. All of these happen as soon as a neighbor update is received, and it can happen anytime in a single tick. Scheduled actions are, well, scheduled. When receiving a neighbor update, they don't start whenever they feel like it. Instead, they schedule a time in advance. So what happens if we have two scheduled actions in the same tick with the same amount of delay? What happens then? Let me introduce you to priorities. Some redstone components have higher priorities than others. The lower the priority value, the sooner it is executed. So repeaters have a priority of -1. If it's into another diode, then it's -3. Comparators have a priority of 0 and -1 if facing into another diode. So what can we do with this information? Well, we can actually do a lot. There are many different things you can do on sub-Gametick mechanics, such as zero ticks, instant redstone, piston doors, Bedrock Breakers, wireless redstone, and so many things that rely on subtick mechanics, so many that I won't get into all of them. So, on to the conclusion. So, what does this mean? Basically, if you have something that has less delay than another, then it goes first. You know that. But if you want to go into the sub-micro tick delay, then everything I just said before. But that really doesn't matter too much unless you're making something that requires so precise timings like piston doors or... And with that, that is all I have to say, and I will see you next time.